For our last video of the series, we're ready to take action. In our penultimate video, we went over some warnings. Some people aren't even on step 1 along the journey. We'll need to have explained to them what the D and the E and the I even mean. Some people push back, really don't want things to be more equitable, and in fact want things to be less equitable than they are, and fight tooth and nail for their beliefs. Although equity work is just like any other, all work has their unique aspects and challenges. Things like identity, belonging, community, and prejudice are things we face when dealing with matters of equity. The work gets harder. As we learn more, as we grow professionally and personally, we position ourselves to take on more difficult inequities that are more complex, deeper rooted, and more strongly defended. Alright, let's start taking action. Are we ready to make a difference, create impact, change the world? Well, yes and no. Not really. One last time I want to set expectations. The purpose of the series was to go from genuine interest to start taking action. Emphasis on the start. We never set out to be experts. Just like any profession, several hours of dense videos that cover dozens of key themes should give us a solid beginning, whatever the topic is. And a fully prepared equity professional, this does not make us. Right? Whether you're a police officer or a building inspector or even a city manager, it takes more than a few hours to be great at the job. And that's okay, because what does make us competent local government professionals, whether we're a water systems operator or a transportation engineer or an HR business partner, is practice, is actually doing the work. It takes action. That is how we become better. We ground ourselves in what this series is and isn't, not to discourage us, but to remind ourselves that we start small with our actions, and the small things build up to bigger and better work. Now that the series is ending, now that the guidebook is on the last pages, what can we do with these? For me, it's a reference document, something to go back to as quick, easily accessible reminders. If we forgot a lesson, if we want a refresher, or perhaps just want some reaffirming, we can turn back to the themes as needed. We've learned dozens of lessons, have dozens of tools. We pick the right tools for each project, each task we have. Much like some gardening projects need a trowel, others a water pitcher, while some need all the tools we have on hand, so too can we use a few, several, or even everything we've learned in our equity efforts to come. To our right, we have all our other lessons in the guidebook. Let's run through a few examples and think of which lessons will apply. What if we want to change the way we go about our work, make our work more equitable? How about the critical lens to better take a hard look at what we're doing? Perhaps normal to consider how our work is currently seen? We've 5 examples near the end. Perhaps our work includes one of these, or there's some similarities. Say we want to influence our team or department, make equity a core consideration. We've got a couple lessons on power to figure out who within and outside of the department may have the power to influence the decision. Don't forget the personal journey. Before we try to change others, best to know where we're standing first. And outcomes. We focus on outcomes when pushing for the department to change. How about if we're dealing with personal struggles, perhaps facing adversity or coming to terms with how we've been part of the problem? Self-awareness, we start with identifying what's really troubling us and what's just a distraction and noise. We strategize self-care, prioritize it, and we turn back to the warnings. See what challenges we face are the ones most of us looking to make a difference will face one way or another, to know we're not alone and there's others who've overcome it. For one more, say we're now leading a DEI committee. Take a step back with levity to help be more approachable, make joining and participating lighter, more fun. We look to progress to get our group on the same page, and of course the team theme can provide a few do's and don'ts. Each situation requires different ideas. Use the themes that will work for the moment at hand. What's next? Now what? Well, if we watched all 41 lessons in this video series, or even just some of them, we have the capacity to go after our goals, in earnest. There are those who face a level of adversity, who face so much hardship that taking action's a hard ask. You are not one of these people. Anyone who faces that much hardship will not have the access, time, and awareness of these videos. You do have the access, time, and awareness. You can act. So what do we want? Not a trick question. Equity is such a broad field, there's so much we can do that we have to decide what our part is. What is our flight path? Where are we going with our journey? Do we want leadership? Do we want specialization? Is there one demographic we want to elevate? Is there a specific problem we want to solve? No right or wrong answer here. Whatever it is, it'll take action to get there. I'll provide myself as an example. When I really wanted to make equity a thing I do, my initial goal was to find the intersections between social justice and local government. I chose a second master's emphasizing social justice to get there, and I did. Not that I know all things social justice and local government, but I have a pretty good handle on the intersections. The goal changed to sharing the lessons I learned with others, understanding most of us aren't going for multiple graduate degrees, and if we are, it's not going to be the same as mine. So I wanted to share what I've learned, and the Guidebook, this series, is the culmination of that. And now, I'm trying to get better. Now it's building expertise through work, through education, through time and effort. Because my goal is to become an expert, because I want to more fully dedicate myself, that means I need to take the actions to match that. I have a position in a DEI division, now doing my piece Monday through Friday, and learning from those I work with by seeing their work in action. That means I've applied for an MBA program to build more technical skills and competencies to synthesize with my work and knowledge in equity. It means I'm still reading books about equity on the side. It's that same level of commitment anyone should give to something they want to excel at. Remember though, this is me. I'm the guy who reached out to the Colorado City and County Management Association and said I want to build an equity video series through half a year on a volunteer basis. That doesn't have to be you. I ask each of us to think of what we want and do that. Do you. Do what makes you feel happy and fulfilled when it comes to equity. Do you. Make the changes that fall within your circle of influence, what you can control today and what you can build up to control tomorrow. Do you. Play the part in equity efforts that matches your skill set. Do you. Do the equity work that challenges you and makes you the best that you can be. Do the job you will commit to consistently and sustainably. Remember that though the work is serious, we don't have to take ourselves too seriously. And no, we're not alone, and we're ultimately setting up the next generation for success, to build off of and do better than us. Go ahead, give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, we can try and try again. Do you. Do that thing you do, and do so well. One more full circle to wrap up our conclusion section. We first slowed down and reflected on each section and theme of the series. Then we warned of the very real struggles and challenges, and how it's still worth it to pursue equity in spite of and because of it. And now we take action. The quote on the back of the guidebook reads, "Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to the noble struggle for equal rights. You will make a better person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in." Big words, important words. Someone has to live up to them. If not you, then who? And that's over 40 key lessons and themes in equity. Thank you for following along, and thank you for the ways you'll apply this to your profession, your organization, and your community. I'll see you around.